Happy Monday, everyone. It's Kimberly Beer here. Today, we're going to be talking about the tortoise and the hare. Yes, we're going to be talking about competitive research on social media. Now, I love competitive research, and it comes from my entrepreneurial curiosity. And anytime I have a new idea, I do a lot of competitive research, not to scare myself off the idea, but to validate whether that idea is worth moving forward on. Competitive research, when you find competition or you find an area where there's a lot of competition, it's usually a good thing. However, my presentation today is not going to concentrate on that type of competitive research. We're going to concentrate on the competitive research around marketing. Now, one more word about the other kind of competitive research where you're researching a competition or an idea and you want to know what's out there competitively. Competitively. Boy, that's a hard word to say, isn't it? So, anyway, if you haven't gotten a SCORE mentor or you aren't working with an SBDC mentor or a coach or business mentor of some variety, I really do recommend that, especially around competitive research. Organizations like SCORE, your Chamber of Commerce, and the SBDC have great resources on competitors in your area, the industries, how many people are in it, what they're doing. So it's a great place to start your competitive research. However, for this presentation, we're going to be talking about competition in marketing and how to use what you can find out on social media and through search, basically online information, to kind of know what your competition is up to, and then use that information that you find out to your advantage in your marketing. So the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to do some digging. And so what I recommend is you write down a list of 6 to 10 of your competitors. And those 6 to 10 people or 6 to 10 organizations are the ones that you're going to keep a spreadsheet on. And I'm going to tell you in a moment what I think you need to be looking for as far as the marketing is concerned. But here's what you need to do first. Google them. Now, when you're Googling, there's a couple of things that you want to know. First of all, you want to check on their reviews to see if they have any, and if the Google reviews come up, whether they're positive, negative, what's going on with their Google reviews. Then you also want to see where they're ranking in searches for various terms that are associated with your business, especially the ones that you're using, or if you're using an AdWords account that you're buying advertising on. So check them against what you are doing in your marketing, as well as think a little bit outside of the box and think of other things you could search for that might tangentially relate to your businesses or more directly relate in words that you might be a little iffy on thinking of using. Where does those 6 to 10 businesses rank when you look on those Google search terms? So it's all about finding a good search string and kind of where those businesses are ranking. Then you also want to go to their website. So you're using Google to find their website. Once you've done that, there are some things that I want you to look for. Also, go look on Bing and Yelp if you are the type of business that should be on Yelp. Not every business is necessarily advantageous on Yelp. Yelp tends to be more for businesses like restaurants and clothing stores and the kind of business that you would walk into, so local establishments. Typically, like coaches and businesses like that, they don't appear as frequently on Yelp as other types of local businesses. So Bing and Yelp, a little bit less important in my opinion than Google. You can also look on Yahoo. You can tend to find about the same thing on all of those search engines, but it's a good idea to do a little investigating and see where your business ranks on each one in relation to your competition. Also, go to their Facebook page, go to their YouTube profile, look at them on Instagram, look at them on LinkedIn, look at them on Pinterest, look at them on Twitter, all of those social networks that are currently being used or currently the most important ones. Get out there and see what your competition is doing. So find their Facebook page, go follow them, go subscribe to them on YouTube, follow them on Instagram. Follow them on LinkedIn. Go and take some serious look. Now, you don't have to connect on LinkedIn, by the way. You can just follow their company. And most people on LinkedIn don't have the professional profile. So there's a good chance they're not even going to know you ever followed. I know that my competitors follow me. So chances are they're going to know anyway. So it's really not, it's irrelevant. They're not going to change their behavior based on you as a competitor following them. All right. Point here is get out there and do some digging. Take a look. Find all of these places that they are on. And you're going to continue your social stalking beyond just finding the social channels. Do join their email list. When you are looking at their website, scrutinize it with a fine-tooth comb. And I've already talked to you about following them on their active social channels. And I do mean active social channels here. I don't mean their inactive ones. If you go to somebody's Instagram page, a business's Instagram page, and they only have 3 posts, no followers, and they follow 2 people, that's not an active social channel. And there may be a reason for that. And that could be a really good piece of information about why you may not want to use Instagram. Or it could be where you could capitalize on an avenue that not all your competitors are capitalizing on at this moment. And maybe you can find a way to make a bigger impact in somewhere where they've left a hole because they don't think that they're going to be able to get the bang, so to speak, on that particular channel. So I would follow them on their active channels, but take note on the ones that they're not being active on. And how could you use that to your advantage? Obviously, if none of your target market is on that channel, it's not going to work for you. But if it's just a smaller segment of a market or a market that they don't quite know how to tend to quite as easily, your competition doesn't know how to tend to quite as easily, there's an opportunity there, and you might want to look at that and weigh it against the time and effort it's going to take to flesh that out. Do check back on social pages for your competition in this research phase pretty routinely. Remember that all of these social channels are controlled by algorithms. Those algorithms determine who gets to see what posts. And typically, business posts do not get shown very often, the organic ones anyway. So make sure you check back on their pages routinely. Do scrutinize their website with a fine-tooth comb. Also watch, and this isn't on my little tip sheet of bullet points here, but also watch how their tracking pixels and retargeting pixels are working. If you go to their website and you like their Facebook page, is all of a sudden their product or service stalking you across the internet? And where are those ads appearing? Are they appearing only on Facebook? Are they appearing in Google? What is going on with that advertising in the display network as you're going around the internet? How often are you seeing those competitive ads crop up? Please do not think by watching this that your competitors are a whole lot more successful than you just because you see a ton of advertising. Remember, those retargeting pixels and algorithms are designed to help facilitate a conversion into a sale. So once you sort of fall into that funnel, and the bots and the algorithms are targeting you, you're going to start seeing those ads pop up everywhere. So don't let yourself lose heart over that. That's just simply because you've set that that in motion for that type of marketing to happen to you. Do take note of it though, because that's what's happening to their customers. And if you are out of that loop, in other words, they're doing a really good job of retargeting, and a client is likely, or a potential customer is likely to look on your site and their site, then they may be getting the conversion over you just because they're doing a better job with their retargeting. Retargeting is an advanced marketing technique, and I really recommend that you get some help with it if it's something that you pick up on in this social stalking phase that you need to take care of. In other words, you're seeing a lot from your competition and you're not out there. That could be a big reason as to why you may not be getting the conversions that you want. You can even take this to the point of doing some secret shopping. a lot of my clients at some point in time or another have done some type of secret shopping, customer service calls and interviews. Even if they don't do it themselves as the owner of the business, then they'll have someone do it for them. They give them a list of questions. Do keep your questions on the level of a customer, or you're going to skew your results pretty hard. But it's always a little bit nice to know what your competition is doing as far as customer service, because service is a place where a lot of smaller businesses can really stand out from a bigger business. If you can provide better service, provide it in a more unique way, provide it with a really sweet twist of some kind that your competition isn't doing, there's a certain segment of the consumer population that will always choose you over a bigger, less personal experience. Here are the things not to do when you socially stalk your competition. Please do not make negative posts or leave bad reviews. That's just bad business. Don't do it. Don't even think about it. Don't write down their customers' names that you see on social media and then contact them. That's a big no-no as well. You wouldn't want them to do that to your business. Just remember, be on your best behavior when you're doing this type of research. Do take notes, and particularly I want you to track the following information on some specific points. On their website, and this is all related to marketing, by the way, on their website, what's their call to action? How are they showing their offerings? And how are you doing that differently? How well does their website represent their brand? If you've done some secret shopping, if you've done some social stalking, you should have a pretty good concept of what their brand is. Is it consistent? Could your brand be more consistent? Could your brand attract a different segment of the population? Are you butting heads to head with this particular competitor? How can you be different? How can you stand out from those people that you're looking at? What can you do different? What can you say differently? How can you present it in a different way that doesn't feel like you're going with the crowd, yet still really makes a point and reaches your specific consumer base? Also really examine, and I've said this earlier, but really examine what search terms are bringing up their site and where does that rank, where does your site rank in comparison to theirs on those certain search terms. When it comes to their social media, check out what channels they're actively using. Again, if they're not actively using a channel, look for the reason why. Is it just because there's nobody there, or is it a harder to reach segment of the population that if you did a good job getting at it, there's a whole group of people out there just waiting for that message? What channels are they not active on at all? I talked about that. What are they posting about? So what kind of posts are they moving out there? What kind of engagement are they getting on their social media? Are their customers posting on the page? Are they responding to the posts that are already out there? Are you seeing some engagement in their social media network? How often are they posting? What are their happy customers saying? What are their angry customers saying? And what is that company's response to that? Now, you'll notice on this particular track, this information on social, there may be something that you feel is missing from the list, and that would be, how many followers do they have? To me, I don't ever look at that, even when I am taking on a new client to help them brand their business. How many followers you have on social media is only relevant to you. That is a factor that people can purchase likes, and a lot of people do it. I do not recommend it. There are 100 reasons not to do it, and they are all really, really good ones. But some people do. And so when you go to their page, it looks really impressive. But if you look in what they're posting, they are not getting any engagement whatsoever. In other words, their posts are just falling flat. Now, if you go to a competitor and they have a lot of likes and they're still not getting a lot of engagement, you can't just jump to the conclusion that they purchased some likes and it's all good. What you have to do is take that into consideration. I always look at the success of social media based on what kind of engagements the posts are getting. If you find one of your competitors who has a super engaging social presence, then you want to take note of what they're doing, because they're obviously reaching to the target market just right. If they're not reaching out and there's not a lot of engagement, I would weigh that as not very heavy in your comparison or in your research. I'm not concerned about non-engagement. I'm concerned about engagement. And if you do stumble across a competitor who's getting a lot of it, really, really, really pay close attention to what they're doing to get it, because that's something you need to think about incorporating into your marketing. Do get on their email list. I've already told you that, and it's a little bit scary. Subscribe with a different email address if you're worried about it. Most companies, by the time they get past about 50 subscribers, start to lose track of who's subscribing and who isn't. But on their email, when you subscribe to the email, look at their lead magnet. What is it? What are they asking or saying that is getting you to subscribe? And then what are you provided once you do subscribe? Or what is the bait, if there is any bait at all? Or is it just a box that says join our email list? How often are they sending out emails? Is it every month? Is it every other month? Do you subscribe to their email list and never hear from them again? That's a big indicator too. Did you get on an automated list? And it's pretty easy to tell automated lists from non-automated lists. So when you get an email back, it's pretty easy to tell that those have kind of been a pre-written sales flow, which there's nothing wrong with. And I think we all as consumers kind of expect that by now. But the more personal those automated lists are, the better that they are received by the consumer. So do look about, how did you get on an automated list? And if so, what was the funnel? What were the calls to action? How were the emails structured? How did that make you feel from a consumer standpoint? And look at your funnel. Is it the same or is it different? Is there something that you could be doing better or improve upon, either their model or improve upon in your business, to really help draw in the absolute perfect customer for your business? You really want to know what their follow-up procedure is. Is it better, the same, or not as good as yours? And what can you do to improve things for your consumers? The bottom line here is you really want to set yourself apart from the competition, and knowing what your competition is saying and doing in the manner of marketing is a really, really good way for you to communicate a message to your potential and current customers that does just that, sets you apart from the competition. As you're doing this project, if you take it on, please remember competition is a good thing, and you need to know what your competition is up to in order to stay ahead in the race. So your challenge for this week is to go out there and do a little competitive research. If you haven't done it before, I would spend a little bit more time on it. If it's been a while, I would revamp and go back and take a look. If you're doing this as an ongoing basis, then try to come at it from a different angle, maybe move it around a little bit to see if you can come up with a better mousetrap. All right. Thank you so much. Go out and have a great week, and I will see you next Monday. Thank you.